Right. This is Ruptured Towers Part 6. Yes, Part 6. This is the light-themed portion. Grief. I will show you the rest of it. It is sort of inspired, shape-wise, by the stone tower. So it is perfectly symmetrical, vertically or horizontally or whatever. It's one dawn guard sort of chunk stacked on top of another dawn guard chunk. I will eventually expand it so that you can get on this roof area. We'll put treasure up there, probably a secret super cool item that would fit down here in the Ruptured Towers. I'll put one there. Probably put one on top of Fear. Maybe on Anguish. Probably not. But I'll make a reason to get up there, because that would be pretty cool to get up there. I'll talk about that star-shaped glowy thing down there in the book once we get to it, but we're not there yet. So how long is he? Grief. So Grief was a little tricky because it's light themed. So it was hard to figure out exactly how to do that in Skyrim, but using Dawn Guard was a good idea. Using Dawn Guard stuff sort of works. It sort of helps with the light theme, and it sort of looks like the Temple of Time, which is fitting. The rest of it is sort of inspired by the Temple of Light that you see only a little bit of in Ocarina of Time. And it's very well lit. And we have the poem to start with. This one teaches you restoration, which is nice. This is Invictus by, I forget the author, but it's called Invictus. There's two Armos here, both Armos variants. And Grief doesn't have much in the way of enemies, but does have the Forgotten right there, and has jumping puzzles. You don't want to fall in there. Obviously this is Azura's Star pieces, so a little bit of the Link Between Worlds is also here. And the lighting is a bit strange. There's some floating globes, light globes, and then there's these, which don't do anything right now. I might fiddle with it so that if you get too close, they shock you. But these are actually the inventory meshes for shock magic, and I just blew them up, put them in corners here, and put some light with them so that they just light. And there are jumping puzzles in... I don't want to call them jumping puzzles, it's more platforming, because there's platforming in Zelda, so I figured I want to do platforming, so I put platforming in Grief. And this is sort of broken and sort of repaired, quote unquote, with this hang on. There we go. Okay. I had to dry myself off from frostfall. Look, buddy. This is the Azura Star stuff, and it's sort of, I don't know where I was going with this, but it's sort of like this used to be a fully stone temple, but then it sort of started breaking apart, and parts of it got, I don't want to say that they were repaired, it's more like it crystallized. It's hard to explain, but it's like it crystallized into the ether or some weird thing. And these crystals started growing, and you'll see these crystals throughout other dungeons, like Kino Langdon's Elm or Widishall, that show sort of this weird juncture between worlds. That's sort of what all this crystal stuff is. Yeah, if you fall down there you die, so don't do that. Just more of that. Nice. I really like this banner. There are enemies here, other than, you know, things. There's Wizrobes, and these are special Wizrobes that use shock magic. Stop that. Whatever you're doing. I'll shoot arrows at you. Yeah, you can't ward arrows, you jerk. Yeah, I got that. Alright. So, it really bothers me when this happens. There's nothing I can do about it. I have to quick save and quick load. No, oh yeah, so Fading Twilight. It's just a bunch of quotes. So instead of one book, the lore book is scattered. The last lore book was in Misery. That was the last sort of lament. Well, it wasn't really the last lament. The last lament is in Grief. This one is... There's not so much of a lament. It's just sort of ideas and stuff. And it's like multiple pages of the book rather than one single book. Here's a nice open area. Gotta be really careful here, don't fall in. There's some nice floating stuff. See if we got anything good. Ooh, Giant's Toe. Ooh, Glass Tonto. Over here. Oh, there he is. Got some treasure. Nice stuff. Ooh, purple rupee. Oh. That door's locked. So, we have to go through this. Oop. 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 Really easy jumping puzzles here. Whoop. He says as he fails almost fails miserably. Probably should be in third person for this, but... Come on. Aha! There we go. First try. I think there's also... You look like you're having a problem there, buddy. Oh, Master Return. I think you're supposed to be a mini-boss. Oh! Oh, here we go. Alright, that's done. Here's another page of that book. Page 2. And I sort of wandered in here. Here's sort of final room. There's some loot here on this. There's rings. There's an extra ring of Kokiri, which is nice. There's a bottle of Great Fairy's Tears. There's a Gold Skulltula token, which I'll pick up. There's a final page of that book, which I'll pick up if I can find it. There's another Gold Skulltula token. Dark Nut Thrall, which is really nice. And then I have to quick save and quick load again. Fading Twilight, page 3. Yeah, so this... I was, for some reason I was really into that song, time to say goodbye, and the Italian version is Comte Partiro. For some reason I got really into that song when I was building this dungeon, so I included that. That was the English version, English translation. And up here, this is the route to the very challenging boss. So we fought Farron's Shade in Anguish. We haven't fought the other two shades yet. And this will be one of them, but there's another dragon. There's a very long staircase, and it slowly gets darker and darker as we get higher and higher. And this is the Italian for that song. Higher and higher, there's some nice lights. And here's Desiderium, the final boss of Grief. And this is a very strange arena. It's just a bunch of Azura crystals floating in. This is actually blood water. Can't really tell. Floating in water. I think it's blood water. It's water. Water of some sort. And there's the Soul Cairn sky above us. It's very small, and there's the backup chest right there. There's also this sort of hollow space. And it's very weird. There's one of the dragons, and then the other dragon is somewhere around here. There he is. Elden Shade. Very hard to see Elden Shade. But there's Elden Shade. So you fight two dragons at once. And one of them's already doing some pretty jump. And there I go. Oh, nice. So this is a direct reference to Order of the Stick. No, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages. Onox was the villain of that, and his final form was a dragon. So you can interpret this dragon as you will. It's not the normal standard Onox. It's a dragon Onox. So, I mean, you could say that his form was stuck, or he turned into that form during the war or something like that. I'm gonna shut up and just fight. This stagger is really annoying. Okay, that took way too long. I actually ended up having to cheat. Um, Clearly this character that I'm using is not the right level because she kept getting thrown around by all the stagger, and for some reason this character has a really hard time with stagger. Like, everything staggers her. Everything. I need to figure out what's going wrong. But, she's... Dragon Combat Overhaul made this fight very difficult. You'll probably have a better, easier time than I did, because this character doesn't have good equipment, nor does she have good stats or anything. Onox carries the Grief Key and Sand of Hours, and Elden Shade has another Grief Key, and he has Soul Dew, so he has some stuff. There's also the chest, which I pointed out earlier, over here, right there. Okay, obviously I recommend having good equipment, like the Master Sword, or something to fight these dragons, because they are pretty tough. Either that or I just suck at the game. But it's not my fault that this character has terrible issues with stagger. Whatever. I have the Grief Key now. Grief is pretty short. It's just that battle takes forever if you're not prepared. 43 probably, at least for me, is not the right level. So I will go on down this staircase. I would have liked it to be one constant staircase, but no such luck. Okay, one more. No, yeah, that's it. Okay. And here is the way out. Now then. Yeah, I got rid of it. Not here anymore. There used to be a lever here, but I dispensed with it. And now you can step right here, and this is the final book that will take you to the final place, and that is the Bridge to Guilt. And that is topic for another video.